Good morning, students. I am Pragati, your social science teacher. Today, I have brought a presentation for you so that you can clear all your remaining doubts, and it also helps you to revise each and every topic thoroughly. So let's start with the chapter 1 history. So with slides and revise all our topics.
So, before starting the chapter, students, let's do some recap about history. So, what is history? Knowledge that is gained from the study of past is called history. It teaches us great lessons. It guides us what to do and what not to do. History also informs us about a rich past, how people lived, what they ate, what they wore, and what type of houses they built. So, what is the definition of history? History is the branch of knowledge that records and analyzes past events and happenings. It is difficult to study a very long past which ranges from the start of life till date. Therefore, historians divided history into three periods: ancient, medieval, and modern. Here, ancient and medieval history we have already completed in class 6 and 7. In this class, we will know about modern Indian history. Historians divided history on the basis of the events that took place in the past, which gave an impact on the society, culture, political, and economy. For example, the life of a person has different phases. For example, childhood, youth, manhood, and old age. So, the past events that took place in different phases of the person's life is considered the history of that person, such as childhood memories or the history of youth and manhood. In the same way, the history of a country can be categorized on the basis of the events that took place in the past. This process of categorization of events is called as periodization of history. So students, let us know the meaning of categorization of history. Periodization is the process of categorizing or dividing history into various time periods. The periodization is done on the basis of major socio-economic and political changes. These drastic socio-economic and political changes refer one period from another in history. We see the socio-economic and political changes were totally different in ancient, medieval, and modern period. This concept of periodization is given by James Mill, a Scottish economist and political philosopher. Historians divided history into different periods to capture the changes that occurred in each period. However, such a division was not same for entire world. For example, the 16th century marks the beginning of modern period in Europe, as this period was a developed era because the concept of democracy, science, liberty, and equality was present. Whereas at the same time, during the 16th century, Indian history was a part of medieval age, as those concepts of growth were not present in our country. In India, modern period starts after the death of Aurangzeb in 1707. James Mill, a Scottish economist and political philosopher, published his book The History of British India in 1817. In this, he divided Indian history into Hindu, Muslims, and British periods. This periodization is based on the religious line that ruled over that period of time. So, in fact, this periodization tried to divide the people with their specific identity. Do you think the concept is correct? As during the Muslim and British rule, there were thousands of Hindus and Muslims princely states, and even there were many other religions and faith that existed simultaneously during those periods. For example, Chandragupta Maurya was a Jain, Ashoka was a Buddhist. Therefore, the concept of periodization was not appropriate. So students, on the basis of the previous explanation in this video, answer the following questions in your own words. According to James Mill, Europeans were superior and all societies of Asia were at a lower level of civilization as compared to European society. Hence, according to this theory, the British rule represented all the aspects of progress and civilization. In other words, the period before the British rule was in darkness. The British Raj. Many historians refer the British Raj in India as colonial period or colonial rule. So let's see what is the meaning of colonization or colonial. Meaning of colonial. Colonization is a process of conquering one country by another, which leads to political, social, and economic changes in the conquered country. A colonized country always exploits the resources of the conquered country. For example, British colonial rule in India. So students, let's move to the next topic, that is importance of dates in history. How do we decide which set of dates is important? Do we have any criteria to follow? Certain dates around which we build up our story of the past becomes vital when we focus on a particular set of events as important. So, dates are important as they note when certain events happen. This is very important because history is recorded chronologically. It helps to know that one event happened after another event, so that one can examine the relationship between events. Dates also serve to mark periods in history. For example, when we talk about a person's life, we point out the important dates related to the person's life, such as birth date, marriage date, or a particular date which turned life of a person. These important dates give shape to the story of the person's life. Therefore, while writing history, to make it interesting and to give clarity, historians mentions the important dates so that it can give a better shape to the story which they are developing. So students, here in this video we have discussed lot of topics regarding this chapter.